Hello guys, how's everybody? I hope everybody's doing well. So, as you can see, our topic today is going to be writing. How to write persuasive letter or persuasive leaflet. Leaflet is like a poster, but it's more than one page. So, how to write a persuasive piece of writing, how to persuade somebody through using our words. Let's start. Alright. First, the techniques we have are here we have the word persuade, P-E-R-S-U-A-D-E, persuade, which means to convince, to change somebody's opinion from something to something else, to convert that opinion into your own opinion. So, here persuade, these are the techniques. Power of 3. What do I mean by power of 3? Here, include lists of 3 items or reasons in your writing. This is very powerful. Alright, so my writing has to include 3 items or reasons. For example, I want to write about an animal, an endangered animal about to be extinct, and I want to save this animal. I have to write 3 things and 3 reasons why we should save this animal, and also block all the ways where the other opinion can, oppose me, like to dare them to disagree. Like these 3 reasons are just blocking the way for them to disagree with you. So power of 3 is the first thing. So P is for power of 3, which is including lists of 3 items or reasons in your writing. Number 2, emotive language. Emotive language, you need to use words, phrases, and imagery that arouse an emotional response. You need to make people get emotional so they can listen and be convinced with what you're trying them to be convinced with. So, again, use emotive language. Rhetorical questions. Rhetorical questions, I've said before about rhetorical questions that they are questions that we're not waiting for an answer to. Questions that you're not waiting for somebody to answer, or they don't need an answer. You're just asking them to make the audience think more. Like, do you remember in your books, in your textbook, do you want to save a life? And then a question mark. So this is not actually a question. It's just making the reader think, and it's kind of a hook to grab the reader's attention at the beginning. So rhetorical questions are questions to get your audience thinking, and they don't require an answer. Alright. Okay, instead of this mess, let's just write, for example, here P, number 1, and here E, number 2, and R here for rhetorical question, and this is number 3. Say again. Say again is also very powerful in writing a persuasive text. Why? Because when you keep repeating the same thing over and over again, people get convinced. Also, there is an Egyptian idiom or saying that says that repetition is more powerful than magic. Repetition or insisting on something is more powerful than magic. So if you want someone to do something, don't go for magic, no, go for repetition. So I hope you know what I'm talking about in Arabic. So say again, here repeating um, repeating the same word or phrase or idea more than once for emphasis. Emphasis means to give this thing or this idea a special importance and value, and also to stress it, like to stress it to show its special importance. All right, next. So, okay, undermine opposing views. Undermine opposing views. Undermine, it means make them see that how any opposite point of view, other than your point of view, I mean, any point of view other than your point of view is not so good. Try to say that the other points of view are not the correct ones, you are the correct one. Again, without saying bad words about other people. Don't ever say bad words about different opinions. It's just you're trying to show how yours is better, not by showing how theirs is worse. And also, don't use bad words. That's the main thing. So undermine opposing views, show how bad they are or not so good as yours. Which says here, destroy, criticize the opposing argument, destroy it, make them see, make the people or your audience see how the other or the opposing views or points of views is not good and they're not right. Destroy them and they're not useful. All right, so this is undermine opposing views, and this is number 5. Anecdote. Anecdote means little story. Anecdote means a story. All right. So, including little stories to illustrate the point. Including little stories to illustrate the point. This is also kind of putting an emphasis to your point of view. You're showing how valuable it is, how right it is. You're stressing it. You're proving it using reasons and facts, as we mentioned. So, anecdote is including little stories to illustrate a point. Okay, so you're not just going to illustrate by using words or description. You can use stories and events or incidents, things that actually happened, or stories that show how important your point of view is. Direct address, different color. Alright, so direct address. Direct address, it means that you have to talk directly to the audience. This makes a huge difference when the reader or the listener, the audience of your text or your speech, feel that you are talking to them directly. This really changes their point of view very easily. It's very helpful. So this D here is to involve your audience by speaking to them directly using personal pronouns and shared experience. Personal pronouns, especially like you and us, always include them. You're either talking to them or you're talking about you and them, us and we. Make them feel that you and them are just one entity or one thing. You're all together to do something. Make them feel the unity of you and them so they could be on your side. Exaggeration. Exaggeration means to, for example, if I tell you, hey, Malak, I have called you 1,000 times. Why didn't you answer your phone? Have I called Malak 1,000 times, literally? No, I haven't, of course. Maybe I just called her 3 times or 4 times, and I'm calling these 4 times 1,000 times. That's exaggeration. So, go over the top, go over the top to get a point across, to reach your point. Again, being over the top to get a point across means to reach your point. Exaggerate. Make them feel how endangered, for example, this animal is, and it's about to extinct, and how this animal is useful if it stays alive, and how danger it is for other animals, maybe, or for its for some kind of specific woods. Maybe they save these woods. If this animal extincts, people who don't care about nature and woods are going to go cut all the forests where these animals live, and these forests are important for us. So always try to exaggerate, right? To get to your point. So this were all the techniques. Again, power of 3. It means you have to include 3 items, the 3 reasons, the 3 facts at least. It's very powerful. If you write 1, you might not sound very convincing. If you write 2, they might still be not so convinced, about to be convinced. But if you write 3, they are surely going to be convinced. If you like, the more you add, but don't also exaggerate or over add reasons, because this might go against you. It might backfire on you. All right. It might seem that you're lying. Again, so power of 3, use 3 items of reasons. You could use 4, but not less than 3, because 3 is very powerful. Emotive language, which says, where is the emotive language? Here. Words, phrases, and imagery that arouse an emotional response. Try to use descriptive language that arouses their emotions. They're babies, they kill them, they torture them, they they take the big, for example, rhinos and from their kids, and the kids die because they don't know what to do without their parents. Make them get emotional. They will definitely be convinced. Rhetorical questions. Ask them questions that don't require an answer. Like, make them think about your point of view. But again, these questions don't require answers. Again, like, do you want to save a life? Of course, everybody wants to save lives, but it's going to first grab the reader's attention and make them think. Say again. Repeat your point. Keep repeating your point. Say again here. Repeating the same word, phrase, or idea more than once for emphasis, to show how important it is, how valuable, to stress on it. So repeating or repetition is more powerful than magic. Undermine opposing views. Again, destroy them, but using your mind. Don't just say that they're bad and they're not right. Okay, why? You have to say that they are not right by saying why they are not right. Not just by saying they are not correct. These people are wrong. No, don't use such phrases. Convince me how they are wrong, or why I should listen to you that they are wrong. Prove that. Prove it. Anecdote. Anecdote means a little story, including little stories to illustrate a point. You don't have to just use words and description. You can also use stories. Direct address. This is also so important. Involve your audience by speaking to them directly using personal pronouns and shared experiences. And exaggeration. Being over the top to get a point across. Alright, and that's it for the techniques of persuasive writing in general.